questions?
Really good questions.
Hey.
Okay, so Tosh and I are going to share a little bit about how meditation came into our lives and kind of the effects it's had, or, just generally. I was introduced into the idea of meditation through books I read when I was probably about 14, 15. When I was living in Northern California in 2001, I would try to practice the breath awareness meditation. I found it extremely difficult. And I was frustrated because I didn't know if I was doing it right. It wasn't until I was about 23 that I decided to seek instruction for meditation. And then I began a daily meditation practice. After reading several books about different kinds of meditation, I decided to contact a local teacher that's affiliated with the Chopra Center. She's licensed to teach the Chopra Center's primordial sound meditation. And what that is, primordial sounds are said to be the most basic vibrations in all nature, in the universe. It's said that all objects in existence have their own specific frequencies of vibration, and these are the primordial sounds. So the primordial sound of the universe is own. Before meeting with my instructor for the first time, I was asked to provide some information. They wanted my name, when, where, and what time I was born. And the sound that they would teach me would be the supposed primordial sound that the earth was manifesting at the time I was born. So I completed my training with my instructor, I received my personal mantra and general instruction about meditation. At that point, I began a twice daily meditation practice. There was something about the act of sitting in meditation that felt really right and really good. During those years, my thoughts and goals focused on wanting to find a mate. And but all the eligible men that I encountered, they, maybe had some vague knowledge of meditation, but they weren't interested in that, And there was just nobody that really had a spiritual connection that I think comes with, manifest from the communion that you experience through meditation. So I spent several years alone, meditating on my own. And then in 2005, Tosh and I started dating. And Tosh didn't have any knowledge or experience with meditation. So as he and I spent more and more time together, I gradually let my meditation practice fall by the wayside. At the time I registered increases of stress and anxiety. But he didn't meditate, so I didn't. But I never forgot about my meditation. And within a year, I realized I was at an important crossroads in my life. I had a choice to either bring meditation back and make it a permanent place for the rest of my life, or I can exclude it completely and never have that again. And it really felt that cut and dry to me. It was either going to be part of my routine, part of my life, or gone. So I didn't have to think too hard about it to realize that wasn't something I was willing to lose. I didn't want a life that was devoid of that experience of meditation. So around that time, I noticed there was a meditation class being held, one of those after-hours community classes at high school. And there's one just up the street from us, and I asked Tosh, would you be interested in learning about meditation? Do you want to go to this class? Luckily for me, he said sure. So for me, sitting there in that classroom after the first short meditation, I was completely overwhelmed with a warm, strong feeling of coming home. And in that instant, I realized just how much I had missed meditation and what it really meant for me in my life. I was so amazed at how naturally my body and mind went back to that meditative state, even after a year of not really meditating at all. At that moment, I committed to practicing meditation regularly for the rest of my life, regardless if Tosh participated or not. When I sit down to meditate, I've often had the thought that the time spent during meditation is time spent with the only part of me that will still exist after Clara instead. It's very comforting to me to build this relationship with what is eternal in me. With meditation, I shed fear and angst. I experience an inner peace, strength, and intuition which begin in the silence and follow me without effort through my days. Some meditations are very noisy with thoughts I have oftentimes sat down to meditate and I feel like my mind is vomiting. And I just go with it. Because even after all of that coming up with all the things in the day and conversations, even after a really noisy meditation, I can't deny the positive experiences that I have after that. Tosh will tell you about his first exposure to meditation and the class he attended at that high school.
Since this is my first exposure to meditation, it was harder. It was hard for me to meditate for very long, like for 5 or 10 minutes. But even during that short time, I felt feeling peace that I hadn't felt before. So it was something that I knew I would like to continue doing. One of the meditation exercises they did is we were just walking meditation. You just walk really slow. It's just extremely slow, and you pay attention to all the little muscles that fire just to take one little step. So you just pay attention to what your body is really doing that you don't notice going through your day. So I found that exercise very interesting. Yeah, I knew after that it was something that I wanted to become more efficient at, making part of my life more.
So several years passed, and I continued to do my daily meditation. Tosh would join me sometimes, not very often. Maybe when we did it was for maybe 5 minutes, and then he'd start to bitch at me and he'd get up. It was really hard for him. And a breakthrough came in December 2011 when we were spending an afternoon at the Corridor Spa on 3rd Avenue.
Cool.
Yeah, so if you don't know the Corridor, it's a Japanese food bath. And we were sitting, after we did that in the sauna, we went to an empty lounge, and Clara suggested that we meditate for a bit. On my wrist was a wooden beaded bracelet. I locked the key, I took off the bracelet, and instinctively started passing it through my fingers like a mala. And it just felt good. It helped me focus my mind more when I was able to sit longer in meditation. So I went online and did some research about malas and searched around stores locally until I found one that I liked. I use that from time to time just to help me focus. I was going to bring it today, but I forgot.
Another time.
Another time. In 2010, Clara asked me if I would like to experience the same meditation instruction that she had as the Tropper Center instructor. She would give it to me as a birthday gift if I wanted it. And I said, great, so let's get it scheduled. So I received my personal primordial staff meditation mantra. And I started to meditate quite a bit more often, and it was easier than it has been. And then when my last job before this one, I worked near, I found a park nearby that just had lots of trees, and it had a river going through it, and it had hundreds of robins there. And sometimes you hear frogs, they're really quiet. So I go there during my lunch break most days and meditate for a little bit, and it was really healing. There's also a generic primordial sound mantra that the Tropper Center teaches to anybody interested. It's called the So-Hum mantra. It's a mantra of the breath. So you sit in silence and you take a deep breath. You hear the sound, so you exhale slowly, listen, you hear So just breathe in, you hear that sound. So that I really think back on a lot. There was one sitting on the rim of Island in the Sky State Park in Moab area. You just looked down these huge canyons below you and sat there and meditated. And one of the favorite parts of meditating is when you open your eyes and are coming back. You just see like the vast nature in front of you. It's just really powerful. And then there was another time in that same general area where we're just inside a canyon with all these cottonwood trees, and it's just that same. It's a lot more powerful when you're out in nature than anywhere else. I also noticed when I started to meditate more often that I was able to focus and remember things more easily than I ever have been before. The current job that I had now, an interview for it, I actually went to the hills over some trees and meditated for a while before I went to the interview. Got there early, and it was the best interview I've had. I was really calm. I wasn't nervous. And he said several times when there was "Thank you," several times. So it was neat, and I dated the job, and it's been my best job so far. So I thought helped me get that.
So Tosh and I both practice daily meditation now. It's usually once a day, usually every night before we go to bed. But unless we've had a really bad, crazy day and it's super late, I always meditate before I go to bed. I don't like to let a day pass without it. And last Sunday when we did come, I sat down on the sofa and made sure I had that. I always actually look forward to Sundays that I meditate twice in one day that day. So it's been interesting for me to realize how Tosh, who decided I was good enough to marry, he's taken on this meditation practice in his life that he feels is valuable and integral. And we've both grown even closer as time passes, and we become more and more stable in who we are and finding our life purpose and direction in this lifetime.
So one day this summer, after many months of being on this nutritional therapy called Gerson therapy, I had a spur of a tumor that they later found out was benign after they removed it surgically. But the therapy and just going through all that process was very stressful, and I told Clara and I said, I don't think I could have got through it without meditation. I would have broken down since it was really hard those first few months. And it kind of helped to stabilize me and keep with the therapy, which was very helpful in my healing. And I later found out that this group started the same month that I found out about the tumor. So it was like waiting for me. So that was nice. Well, I don't remember when they started coming, but it was nice that it was waiting when I needed it.
Well, I definitely agree with Tosh that I don't think we could have gotten through this health issues this spring very well without meditation. We're both eternally grateful that in this existence we have the tool of meditation and to strengthen and guide us in our human lives. We feel very grateful too for having found this meditation group. I believe there's a special energy in this group of people in meditation. And we have some amazing people here. And we look forward to getting to know each of you better.
That was just magic.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. That's really
Would you be up for questions?
Yeah.
So that was, you guys, that was great. Thank you for the story. And I just had to it really brought something to me, especially when you were talking about, because when I first started practicing sitting meditation, it was like I was everywhere, and I still am.
Yeah.
So my meditation is kind of like hopscotch, and now I can embrace that. And to me, before it was like, that's not normal, I can't do this. But now it's like, I expect it to happen, it happens, and I can let it come in, and then I can kind of let it go away.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
Yeah.
And then when you were talking about that, so hum, I do that too. I kind of, my practicing sitting, I do little various things. Again, it's the hopscotch.
Every meditation is different.
Yeah.
And if your mind's vomiting, it's because it needs to.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was interesting. I'd never heard about them doing that, but
Yeah.
that's very
Thank you, I volunteered your story. It's very,
No, it's kind of-
very, sweet. And it's very, I hear a lot of my own self in both of your stories. Thank you for putting yourself out there.
Yes.
No, it's not easy.
Sure. And now it's going to be somebody
It wasn't easy.
Why
Maybe it
was-
was easy.
But it's different to come up and like, okay.
No, it's a big deal.
But, yeah, I wish, like, the only thing I regret in retrospect is back when I was in my early 20s, with my first attempt at meditation, I wish that I had had a guide to just say, no, you're doing it right, and so it'll be good, just keep on, you know. But I didn't, I was alone, I was feeling all this world out for myself, so, you know, yeah, I mean, I would have loved to have had that incorporated through adolescence and stuff, you know, somebody to help carry me through the craziness.
I read an autobiography of a yogi, and that they have like a meditation instruction from there, so
Oh, they do?
I did that on my own too. I wasn't ready for anyone to tell me what to do. If anyone told me what to do, I did the opposite. So a book was good, that's how I started.
Yeah.
And I don't want to keep doing it. Thank
No,
you.
you're fine. Oh, yeah.
I'm curious when you said that, I mean, your whole presentation was, I'm so glad that you remember the person today. So in case anyone doesn't know, people talk about different things. I mean, this was just extra special that you gave such a fabulous introduction to, through your introduction to meditation. But just for the people that haven't been here before, I mean, it could be about hopscotch or whatever. I mean, people talk about different things, and
It's
then we
someone talking
video
about
them.
poker,
Yeah, poker, and then we video them, and they're online if you want to see. videos.
AnnaZumi.com,
Yeah, and then there's a link to the Sundays.
and then his Sunday. But Isabella's on there, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. And then Ward and.
She's featured, isn't she?
But I just wanted us to say.
She had to say.
Make her die right now. But my question is, that was so, when you said that it came up for you, that you knew that it was going to be a this or that. I mean, that's, how come that came up so strongly, and and what was that like, and how did?
I was wondering that too.
I always try to feel out my life. There's certain things that feel right, and there's certain things that don't. And I always try to do what feels right. You know, it's not always easy. Even though I knew I had missed meditation, I didn't really. It had been so long. I almost didn't even really know what I was missing. I just kind of knew, there was something not right. And when we sat down, and it was a really short meditation. It was maybe like 5 minutes or 7 minutes, because these were all beginners, That's what the class was, just beginning introduction meditation. So they were going easy on them,
Do you remember who taught that?
I don't remember her
Right.
name. No, it was that lady. She was going to go off to India for a while after the class was done.
Was it Salt Lake or?
Yeah, it was up at East High.
Was it Natalie?
I don't remember her name. This was several years ago. So sitting there and just closing my eyes and letting myself go back into that space and recalling my mantra and repeating it internally was just, there was just such an overwhelming feeling. And it really was coming home. It was like going back to your childhood home. It was this extreme sense of comfort and support and right, and so I couldn't ignore that. The crossroads was more, Tosh and I were getting more and more serious, and we were starting to pattern out how our lives would be and how we interrelated and how we spent our time, you know. And I didn't meditate at all. It wasn't part of my day. It wasn't part of my life. So looking into the future, it was just, okay, well, this either continues or I'm going to change something and pull that back in. Which is maybe oversimplified, but I mean, as far as anyone can see in the future. I don't think it's too hard to look at yourself, and if you look at a habit that's maybe a negative habit or a positive habit, you know, it either continues indefinitely or you change the pattern. So for me, that was kind of the crossroads was, am I going to change this pattern of this life that he and I are starting now? Or do I really realize, you know, okay, I need to find time for this. It's important enough that I need to incorporate it, regardless if he's totally unsupportive. But that was kind of hard, you know, because if you're with a partner that isn't spiritual or practice certain things that are really important to you, as much as you love each other, there's just kind of a place where you can't meet. So realizing that that could very well happen between us, not that it would ever separate us completely, but I wanted more than that. Lucky for me, it turned out okay. So, I don't know if that explains, but.
Very inspiring. Both things.
Tosh and Clara, ever since I met you guys, I don't know if it's because you meditate or whatever, but you just have this bright light and you're so loving and you just are really special people.
Oh, thank you. Well, we would have never come if it hadn't been for you, because we came to that
Yeah,
music
that
healing
day.
and you talked to us, and yeah, I mean, I'd always thought it would be neat to know a group of people that meditated. And in Salt Lake or Utah, I'm just kind of be finding the right place to go. But especially after Tosh's health issues, there became this real need. I felt that we both needed like a group to be part of, because it would be some kind of support. You know, it didn't matter if it had anything to do with therapy he was on, or you know, people that believed in that. It was just that we needed a support network, and I think this really kind of fit in and filled that. You know, I mean, we've both gotten things out of the other talks that we've heard. Music is fabulous. I mean, that just takes you to a whole new level. And having that dedicated time to sit down and share. And I insist that the energy when you meditate, like all these other souls meditating, there's something very different about that than sitting in your own home. So, just, yeah, it's been a fabulous experience. So thank you. Thank you.